What's up? This is BoxingWave. Thanks for tuning into the channel. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, so bear with me. So I went on Boxing Socialist just now, and I saw Bob Arum says Chavez Jr. will fight either Gennady Golovkin at 160 or Andre Ward at 168. Now, we already know that Chavez Jr. has gone up in weight. He's gone up the fight at 168. He had a lot of trouble making weight at 160. Okay, this guy can actually fight at 175. He's a big dude. He's tall. He's a heavy dude when he's off and he's not fighting. So, I'm already assuming that it's going to be Andre Ward because, 168, he can actually make that without too much trouble. 160 is already been proven that he has a hard time making that weight. And if he was to fight Triple G, he would have done that already before he moved up in weight. Now, another thing that's going on, IBF ordered Carl Froch to rematch George Groves last week. I can't remember. I think it was like 90 days, within the next 90 days, or he has to forfeit his title. I know Carl Froch is interested in fighting, very interested in fighting Chavez Jr. as well. I don't know if he's willing to forfeit his title to do that. Okay, because it would just look bad for him. It would look bad. A lot of fans, especially UK fans, big Carl Froch fans, are disappointed at the fact that he doesn't really want the rematch with George Groves right now. And then at the same time, Carl Froch is interested in fighting Andre Ward again. So Andre Ward kind of have a few options right now. He has Chavez Jr., he has George Groves or Carl Froch. I think Andre Ward is probably sitting back waiting to see the outcome of all of these fights or whatever these guys decide to do, because if Carl Froch really doesn't want the rematch with Groves and he tries to pursue a fight with Chavez Jr., then that would leave George Groves available. You know what I'm saying? And maybe Andre Ward would fight him out in the UK, because Andre Ward is willing to go to the UK now to fight Groves or Froch. In fact, he might even fight James DeGale out there in the UK. Alright, so interesting news here. I just want to dismiss the whole Golovkin thing, because it's not going to happen. Golovkin, might be fighting Kirkland next, and I doubt that fight even happens. But fight with Andre Ward, it's very possible. And it would be good for Ward. Regardless of whatever decision he makes, whether he fight Chavez Jr. Chavez Jr., we already know, famous, got a huge fan base for real. Carl Froch and George Groves both have good fan bases out in the UK. For him to go out there and fight either one of those guys would be good. So, I'm looking forward with whatever decision Andre Ward makes. All of the fights I like. If he were to fight Chavez Jr., I think that would be a clear win for him, without a doubt. I think that would be a 12th round shout out. I don't even have to do a prediction video to tell you guys that. I think Andre Ward would, destroy Chavez Jr., even more decisively than Sergio Martinez did. You can't get any more decisive than that. But Chavez Jr. has a big name. A lot of people tune in whenever he fights. So yeah, Chavez Jr. is kind of, he's fighting Vera too. He's still got that fight going, which is it's a tough fight to call after what happened in the first fight. I feel like Vera won the first fight. He's run to a brick wall where in a long, like, most of his career he didn't really fight top competition. He's pretty much had an easier career compared to other boxers, like Andre Ward, and and Sergio Martinez, you know. And you know, now he's at the point where he's famous enough. He's famous, and you know, at this point he has to just fight top guys, top level guys, whether he's fighting at 160, 168, or 175. You know, all of the top guys are calling him out. And I feel like this is the same thing with Canelo now, because Canelo kind of breezed past in the 154 division and fought a lot of guys that were smaller guys, you know, 147 guys moving up in weight. And now he's stuck with trying to fight guys. You know, he has to fight guys now that are true, you know, that are top guys in the division, you know, because there's not really anyone left, and he already has the exposure and he has the name, and you know, so he's already a big fighter now. So same with Chavez Jr. So anyway, you know, I just wanted to put the news out there. Check out Boxing Socialist, you know, great boxing site, one of the best out there. Shout out to Carcino. And I'm gonna leave the link in the description, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks.